Oh,
You're gonna,
hi everybody. I am Blake Cabot. I am the owner of facepaint.com. We have the great Elisa Griffith. And we're going to be talking about a very topical topic in the middle of summer. So this is going to be, we're going to talk about water resistant paint, not waterproof paint, but water resistant. But just to prove that point, what I would like you guys to do is answer this quick question, at least in the fellow for the people that are on Zoom. And there we go. See what comes back.
yeah. Can they hear me?
They can hear you.
Hey, hi guys. It's Elisa Griffith here. How are you guys? I'm so excited to actually talk about this, which is like water resistant paint and how we can make our paint stay longer when it's really, really hot outside. I live in Oklahoma, so about 30 minutes from Texas, and it's like it can go up to like 110 degrees outside. So the kids sweat, and normal paint doesn't hold up in the heat, but water resistant paint does. And there's a huge difference between waterproof and water resistant. So I just want,
58% know the difference, and 42% say they don't. So there we go.
okay. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit the difference, okay? Waterproof means that whenever people, like the kids go in the pool, even the chlorine won't take off the paint, okay? That means that you need to teach the parents how to take off the paint. You need to tell them, hey, this paint only comes off with baby oil or with a waterproof makeup wipe, like something that will take off waterproof makeup. Those are the two, like, or Vaseline. Some people use Vaseline. Anything that it's like oil based will take it off. Now, there's only a few products in the market that is actually waterproof. Okay, so one is the Pro Air Dips. Um, facepaint.com carries these,
Mhm.
and they are pretty much waterproof. They stay in the water. Andrea Mohi does a great designs with this paint, and it's pretty much waterproof. Then we have Body Color Cosmetics by Tiffany Beckler. She those That product will stay in the water, will stay through chlorine, and it's waterproof. Another waterproof paint, it's if you use airbrush, so like Pro Air ink, not the hybrid. So the hybrid will stay a little bit, but the hybrid has a percentage of water in it. And so it's paint mixed with, like it's not as strong as the ink. And so the ink will stay, and the hybrid will, it's kind of like water resistant,
Mhm.
So that is the difference. So the ink, Body Color Cosmetics, and the dips will stay where that are waterproof. Um, so those are the only waterproof. The water resistant, there's actually amazing options in the market right now. And thanks to GTX, they come up with their line of water resistant paint, which I use when I go to outside events in the summer. I also use it at a birthday party, but I also tell the parents if they go in the pool, it's only going to last about 10-15 minutes, or it's going to last about 8 slides down the water slide. And that's okay. Some parents want that. They don't want to take it, they don't want to scrub it from the kid's face. But there's a difference, right? And also, I'm the inventor of the Color Me Pro palette, which facepaint.com sells.
Mhm.
And it's a powder palette like this. And together with the ultimate primer, so you would put the primer underneath and then the powders on top, it's water resistant as well. So that's another option. Did Was it pretty clear, Blake?
Yep.
What do you
So
think?
far, I understood everything you said. Any questions from anybody?
Yeah, any questions? So, and whenever I do the face painting today, I'm gonna kind of use a little bit of both techniques. So today we're doing water resistance. So I'm using GTX and I'm using the Color Me Pro palette. And I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that I use. So GTX looks like this. They come in a container like this, and they have a pump. Okay, so you're gonna open it, and you're gonna pump it, and you're gonna, to make your one strokes with all the colors, you'll need to pump. you'll need to do multiple pumps of this product. So like a white, a pink, and a red to make a rose, or even a white and a red, and then you will use it like acrylic paint. I'm sure you guys, since you are face painters, you kind of understand Donna Dewberry type of painting where she uses the one stroke. And so that's how you make your cakes, your rainbow cakes. You're going to squirt a few of, like one squirt of each color onto a palette, which when you buy GTX, it comes, when you buy the whole kit, it comes with a little palette to mix everything.
Antoinette asked a question. Hello, Elisa. I bought your new powders at Ace from you last year. Are they also water resistant? Thanks.
Yes. So my powders are water resistant. There are a few ways that you can use the powders. They are water resistant if they're used on paint or if you use them on clean face with the primer. So if you have a clean face and you use the primer, then the powders, they're water resistant. And if you use the powders on top of paint, they're also water resistant. I wouldn't use the powders by themselves on a clean face without the primer if you don't want them to stay a long time. I still use them, but they won't, like powders need to stick to something. They need something tacky underneath to be really water resistant. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, another thing that makes everything water resistant or even waterproof, kind of, is this Pro Air Prolong. Is a setting spray, pretty much. And, it's used to make anything, any pigment water resistant, waterproof slash. So you would put it in a spray bottle. And once you're done with the face painting, you can just spray the kid. And this will definitely make it stay a little longer. I've played with it a little bit. I haven't really played it with my kids going and actually dive inside a pool, but I know it does stay because I use it. I use it to make it stay longer. Does that make sense?
Robbie wants to know, can you repeat which paints are waterproof versus water resistance? Will there be handouts? No, there will not be.
No, there will not be. I can go really slowly and kind of repeat it. So waterproof are Body Color Cosmetics by Tiffany Beckler. The Pro Air dips, which are alcohol based. Okay, so you have to be careful when you go close to the eye area. I wouldn't really go really close to the eye. So if you do Spider-Man, I wouldn't go all the way. I would probably like start up here. But you know what I mean? So just careful, but it does stay through the water. And then Pro Air Airbrush ink, not the hybrid. There's a hybrid paint and there's an ink. The ink will stay, although it's not really recommended to use it on the face. The people that use ink on the face are usually the professional mermaids. The people that actually swim underwater.
Those, just to be clear, aren't real mermaids.
I mean, you never know. Have you seen that?
Have you? You never know. You never know. It's
you
true.
Never know.
No.
I mean, we know Kelly is the mermaid.
There we are.
Yeah.
Rachel asked, could you activate your paints with Pro Air setting spray to prolong your design, or better to spray on top of the design?
Can you? She means the powders.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you activate
That's a good question, actually. But no, the powders cannot touch any water or anything liquid. So how you activate them is just using a lollipop blender. So take one of these and like, I'm going to kind of show you and look how bright that is. Like it's so bright and it's already.
Oh, no. Rachel was asking, and not powders, just your regular water activated case, tag, craze, wolf, whatever it is. Those kind of things.
No, you would activate it. You would just paint normally and then spray Prolong on top.
Yeah, you could use that or Meron barrier seal. Ben Nye's got another version of that. So there's a couple of barrier seals that seal it in and make it water resistant.
That is correct. So you would paint it normally and then spray this on top. This can make pigments waterproof. So let's say you have a mica powder and you mix it with Pro Air Prolong, it can make it waterproof. So does it make sense? So like the mica powder, the stuff
Right.
that comes in a little container that it's
Mhm.
like eyeshadow, like loose eyeshadow.
Uh-huh.
And you mix it with Prolong. You can do eyeliners, you can do all kinds of stuff, and it will stay.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and next question was, what brushes do you recommend for beginners?
okay, that is actually a great question. That is the next thing I was going to show you guys. So whenever I started doing water resistant paint, I bought another set of brushes. I don't use the brushes that I use for water normal paint because these brushes will have to be washed right away. So you don't want to leave these brushes with the water resistant paint. I mean, you can, but it's definitely harder to take it off. And it comes off with normal 91% alcohol. But whenever you go home, you don't want to leave your brushes and just didn't, take care of it because it will solidify literally. So you want to like wash your brushes right away. You can wash them with 91% alcohol and then rinse them with water. Does that
Okay.
make? Yeah.
Yeah. Teresa asked a question. I've had some issues with kids not like spraying on the face. I've tried using a sponge to apply both barrier spray and Prolong. Any tips for using a sponge?
Is she asking about the what prolonged spraying it on the face?
Yeah, so using
Yeah.
Maron or
So
Bandai or Prolong.
I have to tell you the truth. Prolong doesn't smell it smells very strong. It is
Mhm.
very strong. It does work. The barrier spray is way better. The Maron barrier spray smells when I spray my kids with this, they kind of make a face like, ooh, like that. It's very strong. Although it does work. So if you would use this, I would do it from very far away. So like almost
No, but
like
what
when you
actually, no, I don't think that's the question. I think what she's talking about is rather than spraying it on the kid's face, even far away, what she wants is to spray it onto a sponge and then sponge it on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I never tried that. I have to tell you the truth. So I don't know if it would like,
Work or not?
remove some of the paint. That's a great. I would love to try and see. And what
Teresa,
I
you're going to
would
have
do,
to teach that class.
yes, what I would do is definitely maybe spray it and like a perfume when you spray and you walk towards it instead of like maybe spraying it directly to the kid's face.
Mhm.
And then again, the Maron barrier spray it's not as strong smelling. Now the smell is not bad. It's just strong.
Got it.
Um, so that is, but anyway, so these are just a different set of brushes. For beginners, like this would be like a basic face painting class. You would need um like a 3/4 flat brush. You
Hmm.
would need several of these like round brushes, so like a number 3 and 4. I learned only to use a 4 when I started face painting, and then I realized that the 3 makes way better swirls, but my brain had to, remember to actually switch brushes. It was very hard for a while. And then you'll need a flower brush, so like something with a pointy, something
Hmm.
like that, and a few of these slanted brushes, maybe a 1/2 inch and a 3/4 slanted. So those are the ones that that it's a must-have for any face painter. Another tip that whenever I don't know if you guys ever use GTX. So GTX again, summarize. You have to actually squirt it and make your own one strokes, right? So it comes with a little palette. Well, I didn't find this. Somebody gave me this. Somebody gave me this plastic thing that you can find at Dollar Tree or other places, and you can open it and you can make your cakes here. Like you can make your little, 3 colors here, and you can add like black, white, red underneath. And then when you're done, you can just close it. It just closed like that. While when you have fresh paint on a palette, sometimes I have to squish them together, and when I go home, it's like all squished together, and it's not really pleasant. So this actually saved me. I think Amber or maybe Blake, you guys can make your own version of this.
Oh yeah, get right on that. I'll send it down to the lab.
Yes, send it to the lab, please.
See, it's the lab. Katie Klemp asks, is the barrier spray toxic?
Oh, no, it's not. Obviously, it's not toxic. It's actually, I mean, it's made for face painting. It's made actually to spray through an airbrush. So this was made I can spray this through an airbrush gun and it's totally fine, or you can put it in a like spray bottle. At the same, it's the same. Like, I mean, you can use it on the face, on the body. It's just kind of, again, if you open it, it's very strong. It's pretty strong, but it works. So I mean, but the Maron one is definitely not as pungent as far as smell.
Cheryl asks another question. I'm sorry, there's so many questions.
No.
I have your powders and your primers, so they are waterproof. They are not waterproof. They're water resistant. That's not.
That is 100% correct. See, now we're going.
So waterproof is like if you use airbrush paint and you put that on someone and they take a shower, it's still on their face. Like it's just not coming off. I remember doing this in a long time ago in New Orleans, and somebody face painted me and they put me in a Vikings thing, and it took a couple days to come off. I mean, it really was not. That was waterproof. Yes. Water resistant is if you, as you say, a couple times down a slide, it'll survive, but after a couple more times, it won't.
So this is the good thing about it. I carry both. So when I talk to my client, I'm like, now I know you guys have a pool. I know you guys have a water slide. Do you guys want the face to stay? You know what I mean? Do you want it to stay, or do you want it? And is it okay if it comes off after a little bit? And believe it or not, it's a 50-50. Some parents are like, absolutely not. I don't want to take it off tonight. It's okay if it comes off after a little while. And some parents are like, absolutely not. I want it to stay the whole time of the party. Of course, if they go swim, the chlorine will take off like the glitter and the whatever jewel you're gonna put on the kid's face, but the paint stays. It's there. But then at night they have to use waterproof remover to take it off. And that is, you have to actually teach your clients how to take it off. You have to like carry a business card, maybe with some like waterproof instructions on how to take off the paint. Otherwise, they're gonna call you the next day and they're gonna say, "Excuse me, ma'am, how do you take off this this face painting?"
I do not want to peel the face off my child.
Yes, and
absolutely.
And so that's why it's so important to have this class, is because a lot of people were complaining about different products not staying in the pool. It's because they're not the right products. So if you want it to stay, there's products for that, but you'll need to learn which one is which one. Yeah. If it makes any sense.
Back to the tray. Will the paints that you have put on it back to the tray, will the paints that you have put on it be able to be reactivated, or do they get wasted?
So the GTX does not reactivate with alcohol. I've tried it before. The GTX needs to be worked really fast. So that's why Bethany McLean, she teaches that whenever you use GTX, you really don't need a lot of paint. Okay, so you just a little bit goes a long way. You use it and you shouldn't have a lot of extra, right? So don't pump like 50 million like things of white, because you're gonna go out of white, right? But other paints like this, the dips. So the dips is alcohol activated. So when you can make. So let me show you something. Okay, so this is a thing of dips solids. So it's literally this put in that, and then it solidifies, and so you can actually like reactivate this with alcohol.
Right. Okay. I just bought a GTX for the first time. This is a palette square like other paints. Is that a different GTX? So what we're talking about is GTX came out with a water resistant line. The normal GTX is like every other face paint. It removes with soap and water and all the rest of it. But that's what she's about to show you is the other GTX.
Yeah. So the one that I'm showing you today is the GTX that is water resistant. The normal GTX, it comes in cakes like a normal, and you can make like your own one strokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Blake carries all of that, so you guys can go to the website and you can kind of see. GTX comes in big cakes, and usually the water stuff, not the water resistant. And you can cut it, and that's what they're famous for. You can just buy a huge, like,
block. You can buy a
pink,
block and you can
a
cut it up
block.
and
Yeah,
make your own split cakes.
that is
It's
correct. That's
absolutely
what
what
it
they
is.
do. Sophia said,
Any other questions before I show a couple of designs?
we got miles to go before we got 6 more questions. Sophia says, where can you find face paint palette you showed? Well, you can find, it depends on which palette you're talking about, but they're all at facepaint.com.
Yeah.
And because I happen to own facepaint.com, I kind of think I do a good job at it. Robbie Pack, how do you price waterproof versus water resistant versus regular face paints?
So that is a great question. Because the product is a little more expensive, I personally add $25 more per hour. So if I charge, in my area, we charge 125 an hour, so I charge 150 an hour for waterproof. And usually the parents see the value of it, because obviously they don't want the paint to come right off. And so they understand, and they're like, oh, no problem. And if they say, no, it's okay. Okay, this actually happened before. They said, no, I don't want the waterproof because I don't want to pay more. Then what I say is this: is that okay if I come the last hour when the kids are dry and I paint them in normal paint? Because otherwise you're going to be very disappointed that it will come off. And usually people are like, okay, yeah, no problem. Or they say, yeah, I want waterproof. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes
Or
total sense to me.
Yeah, or water resistant, obviously.
Katie asks, I have Maron barrier spray, and in the past I put it on the child before I painted. Is it supposed to go on before or after you paint, or both?
It's supposed to go after. Like, you are going to like paint the child like with hopefully water resistant stuff if you want it to stay, and then it's a setting spray, so it just goes right after. If somebody else has any other suggestions that go before, I've never put it before.
I've always heard it after too.
Say it again.
I've always heard it. You put it on top of paint or something that you're trying to
And
seal in.
again, this is my knowledge of how I used it, and it always works. So, and we also use it for I do theater makeup. And yeah, I do also like beauty makeup. And I mean, beauty makeup, you can go to any store and they have millions of setting sprays. Believe it or not, I always go back to either Maron or Pro Air. Prolong. So
okay, there you go. Shauna wants to get a demo of the GTX water resistant, but we're about to do that. Teresa says a wet palette works amazing to keep the GTX WR activated longer. I hope she addresses this.
So okay, how to make it activated longer?
No, a wet palette works amazing to keep, so you keep the palette wet, and it works to keep the GTX WR water resistant.
So okay, so I got hired here in Oklahoma to work for a water it's a water park, okay? So, and they put me inside the lobby. So when I'm inside of the lobby face painting, I don't have any problem with the GTX drying out. When I'm outside though, it does dry out faster, like any paint in the world, because the wind and all of that. And Bethany McLean has a she actually has. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. Bethany has a tutorial where she shows how to make kind of a wet palette with like different. She uses paper towels, and she puts paper towels underneath that are wet, and then on top she uses parchment paper. I have to watch it again. But anyway, she said that it keeps it a little more moist for a little longer. But I can't, I didn't really have to do that just yet. So.
Okay. I have the removal instructions on the sign in my table, and I just tell the parents to take a photo of the removal instructions, which is a good idea.
Love it.
Is dips hard to paint with? Where do you get the empty blue case?
Okay,
But
so I mean the empty blue case at any like art like supplier, right?
Michaels, that kind of thing.
Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I found my friend Patricia gave me that, and she found it at Dollar Tree, but it's not common to find it there. She said she just found the one, and she gave me one, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Uh, but I think a face painter or Blake can come up with even a better idea. Like
Uh,
we want
the
something
lab,
that closes.
the lab will do that. Yeah.
We want something that closes so that when you're done with your paint, you can just like walk away. That's
Awesome.
what we want. What
Okay.
was the other question?
Is dips hard to paint with?
Okay, so this is the waterproof version of this. So this is a little more creamy. So whenever you lay it down on the palette, it kind of like it kind of feels like acrylic paint. If it makes you like, you know what I mean, if there's a
Mm-hmm.
comparison. This one is a little more watery. So and this is alcohol activated, and this one is already activated. So when this comes out of the water, you don't have to do anything with it, you just paint.
Mm-hmm.
This one is also activated, but it can be reactivated with alcohol, so it is very liquidy. It's more
Mm-hmm.
like liquidy. Is it harder to paint with? Which one is harder? I just think that, I mean, it depends if you like a little more creamy or a little more like liquidy. I like both. You just have to like try and see which one you like.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool.
I mean, I'm asking right now. Are you guys familiar with like how acrylic paint works? So you actually have to make your own like color combinations and stuff? Because that is literally the key to use these products, because they don't come in cakes that are already done. You just have to learn how to maybe have a cheat sheet of all the colors that you can use, combinations, and that will make it a little easier, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Um, uh, and there's more. Uh, okay. We talked about this. Do you charge different for waterproof and water resistant? The answer is yes, you charge more. Um,
I
it's
charge
great.
about $25 more, but then it's up to you guys how much you want to charge.
Right. Okay. And it's great to stop sweating. Clowns will use Mary or barrier spray before putting on their clown makeup for sweat proofing their makeup.
Yeah.
Oh, they put it on before. Okay. Okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
like a primer spray type of, so before and after. I mean,
Yeah.
okay. Sure.
Okay. I'm going to try to find it, Alessandra. You can't find your Color Me Pro palette on my store. I'm going to go try to find it. Okay, I'll find that for you. Do
Yeah,
you use?
no, it's there. I actually looked yesterday to make sure.
Okay,
It's
well,
under it's under Elisa Griffith, and then you choose in facepaint.com, you choose your own colors and you can make your own palette.
okay. Then I will find that and I'll give you a link.
Are you
Um,
guys ready to see a mermaid?
uh, I okay. Do you use cosmetic body art on waterproof face paint?
Okay, say it
Cosmetics
again.
body art. Do you use cosmetics body art waterproof face paint? I never heard of it, but I don't know.
No, I don't. I don't I mean. I'm not really sure what that is, but I mean, send me the link and we'll look.
Okay, well, let's get started because we've got more questions, but I'll try to sort of pepper those in.
Okay, that sounds
And
good. Okay,
I
we're
want to
gonna
say
do.
hello to South Carolina and Cocoa Beach.
Oh, hi, hello, guys. Oh, I mean, it's warm where we are too, but your place is it's nicer, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm gonna set up the phone to do a mermaid on my daughter.
Mhm.
Okay, Mia, come on up. Oh. Yeah, yeah, come on. Okay, okay. All right. You need to tell me if you guys,
Mhm.
how close do you want it?
A little lower,
A little lower.
but we know both it's gonna. Uh,
1 second.
okay.
Okay. And can you see her pretty well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Now I'm gonna prepare my stuff.
Okay, let me send the, I'm going to send, I found the palette, and there's two palettes. There's one that's a build your own,
Yeah.
and there's another one where you just get the 18 colors. So you can sort of switch up colors. So either way, we are happy to sell them. So there we are.
So I'm gonna use this. Let me see, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it? It's hard to. There you go. I'm
There you
gonna
go.
use this stencil right here for the middle right here, and then little scales, because if I would use big scales, you know, she has a little forehead. So Mia, say hi.
Rebecca, you could buy all of it on facepaint.com. If you're looking for something specifically, I can help you with that.
Perfect.
And how many times would a GTX bottle last?
It lasted me around, I would say probably 10 gigs. So, and
Okay,
I'm talking about like 3-4 hours, like
got it.
events. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what I usually do for a mermaid, coming up. What I usually do for a mermaid is that I actually use powders I use my palette on the eyes, because I really truly don't want to use paint on the eyes, because the powders are more comfortable.
Oh,
So
I think they meant body color. The question from before was body color cosmetics. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, body color cosmetics you can only get from Tiffany Beckler.
yes,
So
that is correct.
that is who she sells it direct, and she doesn't that's the way she wants to do it, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's the way she wants to do it. So to make the powders waterproof, we're gonna use my primer. It's called the Ultimate Primer, and we're gonna use a small kabuki brush. So it's a little kabuki. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
close your eyes here. Close your eyes.
I used Regina said she used dips with a stencil and liked it. And how do you clean sponges with this stuff?
So Dawn dish soap works really well.
Dawn dish soap. Okay.
Yep. Listen, Dawn dish soap works for a lot of stuff.
And do you use 99 proof alcohol to clean the brushes and stuff?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And is Maron spray as water resistant as Prolong?
Yes, I would say that it's more or less the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna use this beautiful color here. It's actually called Mermaid, and it's so sparkly. It's beautiful. And we're gonna use a lollipop blender.
Mm-hmm.
Lollipop.
Close your eyes.
Where's the lollipops?
It's called lollipop blender.
Oh.
If you eat them, it's not a good idea.
No.
Right.
No, just no.
Well, I know that because it doesn't really taste good.
It doesn't really taste good.
You've tried it? I've got questions.
Yes.
Yeah, I've tried it. Tried it before.
That's something you only do once.
Okay, what's the questions?
Okay, I really want to hear. I want to hear more about your powders and examples of how you use them on the job.
Yeah, so you're literally watching it right now. So
There we go.
You're gonna use the primer underneath, and this is all powders that I'm using right now on our face.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna show you something really cool. So you're gonna put some more primer. Close your eyes, baby.
Why do I have to close my eyes?
Oh, well, you don't have to close your eyes. Okay, I'm gonna put the scales right there. Do you see the primer right there? But now we're actually going to double load. We're gonna double load so it's gonna be yellow and it's gonna be pink. On one side is yellow and one side is pink. Do you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay. So now Okay, this is all powders. Watch real close. You're gonna put it right there, and you're gonna do pink at the top. And now I'm gonna what? Oh, sorry. And now I'm going to put a little bit of yellow, and it makes orange in the middle. Look at that. It's pretty cool. Same thing over here.
Hi, Nolly.
Bye, Leah.
What?
Bye.
Where are you going?
Work.
Oh.
Okay, here's that. Scales on that side. See how easy that is? Like that. So now when you want to do the middle of the forehead, you want to do it with GTX. The powders wouldn't, the white in the powders is too soft.
Mhm.
So now I'm gonna take my GTX and I'm gonna put a little bit on the board.
Robbie's no longer in Connecticut, moved to Tempe, Arizona, thus learning about waterproofing sweat resistance paints. Makes sense to me. It's a little hotter there.
Okay.
Is the creamy white paint GTX? Oh, sorry. This is an ancient thing. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That was a while ago. Sorry, Robbie.
So then this is GTX I'm using with a sponge.
Okay. Mhm.
And then come a little closer, Mia. Okay, so she has a shell there.
Mhm.
I really like to use a pretty jewel in the middle.
And what type of primer did you just use?
This primer is the primer that I sell with my palette. Facepaint.com sells it. It's called the Ultimate Primer.
Ultimate primer. Okay.
Yeah.
And hey, Jess. Hello, New York City. Julie says, can you mix dips and GTX water resistant paints? And both of them will tell you can't, but everybody knows you can.
I mean, can you mix and match? So you know what I would do? I would use GTX as a base, and I would use the dips for line work. I actually did that before, and it works
Okay.
just fine.
Okay. And did you Rachel said, did you dipped your brush in primer before the powder, right? Or no?
So I dipped this brush in the primer,
Okay.
and then I put the primer first, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
the powders are.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put a lollipop blender and I use the powders on top, if it makes any sense.
Makes total sense.
Okay. So close your eyes real quick. So this is
Hey,
also
Kim.
GTX. So I'm just doing a few more little scales right there. So now let's do line work with what do you think? Shall we do line work with, I would say blue. Blue is gonna look really pretty, I think.
There we go. Do you have a lot of lollipop brushes, one for each kid?
Yes, I own a lot of lollipop blenders.
There you go.
Yeah, I use one per kid because those are pretty inexpensive.
They are. And Antoinette says, will star blends work like this as well if we use a primer first? Yeah. Yeah, star blends. Well, I think generally you use the primer last. Or do you use the primer first on star blends?
So on my powders, you use the primer first, and then you spray it with the barrier spray at the
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And for star blends, you don't use primer first, right? You just use the star blends, then use barrier spray on top of it, right?
You know, some people use the primer on star blends. It makes it
Okay.
stay longer.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So star blends is actually the same as it's the same stuff as my powders. So it just comes in bigger.
Mm-hmm.
in a bigger container.
Erica says, nice powders. So are those water resistant or waterproof? They are water resistant. Waterproof, you can only get really with alcohol-based paint.
Yes. Or Body Color Cosmetics, which Body Color Cosmetics is actually silicone base.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Watercolor cosmetics is the exception to this. Absolutely true.
Yeah, that is it.
Yep. And when you use Mario Barron's barrier spray with regular water-based paints, do you still need to use baby oil or waterproof makeup remover?
Yeah, because
Yep.
that Maron barrier spray makes pretty much everything like water resistant. It's definitely harder to take off. So
Okay.
now, so this took me like, I don't know, like a minute, and then she was kind of wiggly. But
And I'm
you know,
interrupting
so
you with questions.
say it
Yep.
again.
And I'm interrupting you with a lot of questions. So
No, that's okay. So literally, this will be a 1 minute design at least. And then when I face paint at water parks and things like that, they say there's a no glitter policy, so you can't use glitter at all. But today I will because it really makes me mad because they don't want any glitter in their pools, and it's which is totally fine. I get it. I understand. But I'm
Wait,
using.
are we going to the pool?
No, we're not going to the pool today.
but Mom.
I know, Mom. How dare
Uh
you?
Ekaterina asked, thank you. The primer used for the powders is creamy or powdery? Powdery, right?
So the primer is creamy because
Oh, okay.
like I explained before, the powders need to stick to something. Okay, so the powders need to stick to either the paint or they have to stick on the primer. So the primer is sticky, and the powders go on top of the primer. So okay, close your eyes, Mia. So this is like my like a fast mermaid. Good job. She knows how to do that.
Okay.
Anything are you done with Mia? Are we good?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We're gonna do something else. Any more questions?
Oh, there's a zillion. And we've only got about 17 minutes. This is probably more questions than I've ever had in a webinar to my
No,
life.
I knew that, Blake. I knew 100%. This
Yeah.
is gonna be it. Yeah.
Do you
Well-
like the lollipop better than the finger dauber?
Okay, so the lollipop, it's a little bit different. Okay, Jazz, I need you, baby. For the face paint. Okay, so there's a difference, okay, guys? So the lollipop, this is better for powders, period. Okay. The dauber is better for water paint. So if you want to do stencils with water-based paint, and there's nothing better than a dauber for water-based paint, and there's nothing better than this for powders, if it makes any sense.
Yes, it's way hotter, more days of the year, but drier in Arizona. Okay. How do you clean the sponges after using the GTX paint? Asked Sophia.
I use the Dawn dish soap, and it works fine. It works great.
Dawn dish soap. Yep, makes sense. I think
Yeah.
we talked about that. And could you show the actual we showed GTX paint where you were using it.
So I showed it. Actually, the face that I did on Mia was mainly powder. So now I'm gonna do something with the GTX. So
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So that was powders, guys. Pretty much it was powders, and the only thing GTX was the stencil. That was it. Stencil work.
Okay. Got it.
Here's Jazz. Here it
Antoinette
comes.
says your star blends are nice, but your colors are gorgeous. All caps.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My colors are definitely brighter. 100%. That's why I created the Color Me Pro palette, because the other, what's it called? What are they called? The star blends are too, they were too chalky for me.
Got it.
And because I come from a beauty background, I was like, no, this is not okay. So, okay, so now I'm using GTX. So isn't that cool that how everybody's asking questions though?
It is. It's what they call engagement. And they want to see the exact process of loading the sponges and brushes with GTX.
Okay.
So if you can show them that. And
I can definitely try.
So primer make the powder water resistant. Yes, that's exactly right, Katie. So primer makes the powder water resistant. And then you put a barrier spray on top. Thank
So
you.
for the sake of showing it to the video, I'm gonna use like just like a clipboard. Okay. Usually I would use the blue thing that I just showed you in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna use a clipboard so you can kind of see.
Mm-hmm.
So really goose.
There's a ruler at the ends.
Yeah, this is my son Jazz. He's 10.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Jazz.
Can you hold this?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, let me prepare it, then I'll show you.
This looks like the paint that you would use in art class.
Yes, so funny thing that he's saying that, right? So this is GTX. So it looks like acrylic, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like acrylic paint. If I would squirt some of the Pro Air stuff, it's way more watery. So it's so funny because this stays, even if I do this, like it doesn't go anywhere. It stays on the thing. So I can load single colors, or I can make, let's see if I'm gonna make a little palette, a little waterproof.
You dropped something.
Yeah, I did, but that's okay. They can stay there.
Because you're not going to use it.
Probably not.
So you're mixing green with yellow. You didn't, you know, I was about to say you didn't get anything there.
Jazz is judging me.
Well, that's what kids are for.
Yeah. Okay. So let me show you. Okay, so I would use this for like single colors, and this is the
Can you raise
one
that up a little bit? Because I can't see that part.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
And I would use these three colors to create a one stroke. So if you can hold this, Jazzy, so I can kind of show them. Okay, like Bethany was showing the other day on her Facebook, you only have to load one side of the brush. That's it. You don't want to go back and forth. This is enough to create, put it down. This is enough to create, I don't know if you can see my arm, but it's enough paint. Look at that. You see that? So
Okay,
this,
yep.
yeah, so this is enough paint to create whatever you have to do. And this makes it so that you have your own little, you make your own little one stroke. See, different colors.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So is that enough to kind of show how we load it?
I think so. I hope.
Okay.
And you showed them how they actually dip it into the container? I don't think I saw you do that.
How they what?
How you actually activate the brush, put it in the container.
So
Do that.
you don't, so GTX, you don't have to activate it. You literally just squirt it in. That's it.
Oh, okay. I see. You squirt it on there. Got it.
That's
Okay,
it.
fair enough.
So literally I would just like this, squirt like that.
Okay.
So you just squirt one time, squirt one time, squirt one time, and then you use that. That's
Got
it.
it. Okay.
So now I'm gonna show you how to sponge it. So here's my sponge, right? And I want a sponge. We're gonna do a dinosaur design on him. So I'm just going to, can you guys see right here?
And the Color Me Pro palette is not water resistant on its own. It needs primer and a barrier spray to make it water resistant, says Jennifer.
Powders in general are more water resistant than anything else, because they're dry, right? And so, but the primer makes it more water resistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. I loaded my sponge. Yes. And now the GTX actually can go on top of the eyes. It's just fine because GTX is not alcohol based. And so look at this. Look at that beautiful yellow. That's so pretty.
Awesome. And do you use dedicated stencils for these?
No, I use
paints?
normal stencils because you can wash your stencils with alcohol.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so now I loaded my brush. So now you're gonna go around like when you do like a monster eye, right?
Mhm.
So you're just gonna go around. So then
Mhm.
I'm gonna take my powders. Did you hear what I said? I'm taking my powders
Mhm.
and I'm gonna load. I'm gonna load from one side. I'm gonna load this color. It's kind of like a gray color.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take this dinosaur stencils. Look up. And I'm gonna do. This is the powders. All you have to do is press it down. Look at that. The
Okay.
perfect stencil with no worries about being too wet or too dry. It just
And
comes
and you
out.
and you didn't wet your brush at all or anything like that. You just put it on there and put it on, just like
Yeah,
you do makeup.
no need of water at all. I'm not
Okay.
using water at all. Isn't it crazy?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Okay.
Um, can you show the
Wow.
Oh no, I think I did that. Shoot the container, how you did the sponge. Perfect, thank you. Did you find the
No, no, no.
Okay, so this is GTX white. I'm gonna do the horns.
Mhm.
Yeah. So one horn right there, one down here.
Mhm.
So this can be used as a dinosaur design, or I also call it like a monster eye.
Mhm.
Whatever you wanna call it, doesn't matter. So now I'm gonna show you something else different. Are you ready?
Mhm.
You could do.
Have some water.
Yes, you can have some water. You could do line work with GTX black, or you could do line work with the dips.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you the dips right now. So
Okay.
all you have to do is dip your brush in alcohol, and then you just activate it. That's it.
Okay.
Now it takes a little longer to activate, okay? So you really have to work it. This is I believe it's a number 3 brush,
Hmm.
a 3 round. Okay, so now I'm gonna do just his eyebrow. Just be careful not to go too close to his eye.
Gonzalez says, is there paint like you're using now that's not waterproof? Of course, many of the paints are not waterproof. Like
No, this is actually this is
it's
water.
water resistant,
Yeah.
not waterproof. And and this is Elisa Griffith's powder. A lot of them we're showing, but we're also showing some GTX, and we're also showing Pro Air.
Pro Air
Gonzalez said
solids.
she says she's much better with acrylics, but of course acrylic just shouldn't go on a child's face ever.
Like ever.
Ever, like never.
So now that's pretty cool on its own. But if you want to add a little more of depth, you can take black in my powders
Mhm.
and close your eyes real quick. And you're just gonna put a little black right here in the corner of the eye. It makes it a little more scary.
Yep. Uh, and how long does it take GTX to dry on the face?
It's already dry.
Okay.
It takes like 2 seconds.
Do you
Okay.
have one brush for each kid?
One brush for
Each
what
kid?
kind of brush are we talking about?
I presume that when you put it on the GTX, do you switch out brushes or do you clean them between brushes or do you?
No, you clean them with alcohol in between.
Yeah, got it. So use 99% alcohol. Do it. We actually did one with Tiffany Beckler a long time ago, and it was a great one about sort of. It was we did it during COVID. but that had, I mean, she got all into the different baths that one would need for it, but 99% alcohol is the correct answer.
Yes, that is correct. So this also was pretty fast, and it took like maybe again we were talking about it takes about less than a minute, and this can be your close your eyes for me. Turn. This can be
Monster Eye.
your monster eye. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. It's pretty cool. I can't believe we've run out of time. We are like 4 minutes left, and I don't think we have time for their design. But thank you very much for doing this, Elisa. This is
No,
fantastic.
listen, when I decided to kind of teach this, I knew that there was going to be a lot of questions. It's a newer product and a new concept that face painters can make money in the summer when it's really hot. It's actually it's a blessing. We just have to know how the products work so that we don't complain when it comes off, or we don't complain when it stays on forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I hope that this was kind of helped a little bit.
Awesome. I think this has been great. Thank you for doing this. And we have a master class coming up with Valerie Vella, and she is going to be teaching this Thursday a class on the business of face painting. Instead of just grow your business with Valerie Vella, it's on July 10th from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time, and that costs $10. And we have some, needless to say, more webinars coming up. And next Monday, we're going to have Juliet Eve from 4 to 5 Eastern time doing monster designs. And then we're going to have Kelly Burris doing powder face painting. So it's going to be, again, a little more powder from 4 to 5.
These are all really good names. Blake, you're awesome. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, okay?
Okay.
We'll see you back in December.